It was supposed to be a quiet weekend. Melanie had been craving solitude after weeks of relentless deadlines and ceaseless video calls. When her coworker mentioned an old family cabin up in the woods, unused, quiet, and free to borrow, she thought it was perfect. A chance to reset, recharge. The drive up was serene. Melanie was delighted until she stepped inside. The air was heavy, as though the house held its breath. Dust motes danced in the weak afternoon light streaming through grimy windows. It smelled faintly of damp wood and something else she couldn't place. Something sour. She set her bags down, opened the windows, and tried to push away the unease settling in her stomach. An hour passed, then another. She settled into the worn armchair by the fireplace, her journal in her lap, tea cooling on the side table. The forest outside was alive with sound. Birds, the rustle of leaves, insects buzzing faintly. It was peaceful, almost enough to make her forget the odd feeling from earlier, and then the noises stopped. Not slowly, not gradually, but all at once. A deafening silence replaced the symphony of the woods. Melanie blinked, looking up from her journal. The air felt thicker now, like a presence had settled over the cabin. Her pulse quickened as she leaned toward the window, scanning the tree line for movement. Nothing. The forest was still, as if holding its breath. She tried to laugh it off.
Just the woods. Nothing weird about that.
But the quiet persisted. It deepened as the hours waned, pressing against her chest, making her heart race without reason. She tried reading, tried journaling, tried eating, but she couldn't shake the feeling that someone or something was watching. The sour smell grew stronger, curling in the corners of the room, making her stomach churn. She checked the kitchen, the bathroom, the tiny pantry. Nothing. By the time the sun set, Melanie was bracing herself against full-blown paranoia. She locked the door and tried the windows, testing each to ensure they were secure. The swing outside groaned faintly, swaying in the dark even though there wasn't a breeze. She tried to ignore it. She couldn't. The swing outside groaned faintly, swaying in the dark even though there wasn't a breeze. She tried to ignore it. She couldn't. But the quiet persisted. It deepened as the hours waned, pressing against her chest, making her heart race without reason. She tried reading, tried journaling, tried eating, but she couldn't shake the feeling that someone or something was watching. The sour smell grew stronger, curling in the corners of the room, making her stomach churn. She checked the kitchen, the bathroom, the tiny pantry. Nothing. No signs of mold, rot, or decay, but the smell followed her, thick and cloying. The first sound came just after midnight. It wasn't the creak of the old wood or the shifting of pipes. It was a deliberate sound, a low knock, firm and rhythmic. Knock, knock, knock. Her breath caught. It came from the kitchen where she'd been not long ago. She froze, listening. Knock, knock. She slowly rose, her bare feet silent against the cold floor. The cabin was dark except for the small lamp by the fireplace. Her hands trembled as she reached for her phone. No signal, of course. The knocking stopped. For a moment, the silence returned, so sharp it hurt her ears. Relief flickered through her chest as she peeked toward the kitchen door, her fingers gripping the edge of the counter for support. But then she noticed the sour smell was stronger now, almost unbearable, and she realized it wasn't coming from inside the cabin. It was coming from the darkened window above the sink. The glass reflected nothing but her pale face and wide eyes, a ghost of herself staring back. But then, in the faint reflection, something shifted behind her, something tall, something that shouldn't be inside. Turning slowly, Melanie's heart slammed against her ribs. The cabin was empty, or at least that's what her eyes told her. But the sour smell grew stronger, more suffocating. Her instincts screamed at her to run, but no matter where she looked, the door, the windows, the walls, all felt impossibly far away. And then, a shadow moved, just a flicker, something in the corner crouched low watching. Seconds stretched into eternity as her gaze locked onto the spot. Something smiled back, a grin too wide, too sharp to be human. And the knocking returned, only this time it was coming from every wall.